Greetings to all. Welcome to my newest gorilla-focused video. I'm eager to delve into all the amazing things we know about these majestic primates because they are among the most fascinating creatures on the planet. There is a lot to investigate and learn about these animals, from their social structures and behavior to their diets and habitats. So let's get started if you're eager to learn more about these amazing animals. I appreciate your interest and hope you enjoy the video. Large, ground-dwelling great apes called gorillas are only found in the tropical forests of equatorial Africa. Eastern and western gorillas make up the two species and 4 or 5 subspecies that make up the genus Gorilla. Humans and gorillas have a high degree of DNA similarity, between 95 and 99%. They are, after chimpanzees and bonobos, our second closest living relatives. With males weighing up to 270 kilograms, standing up to 1.8 meters tall, and having an arm span up to 2.6 meters, gorillas are the largest primates still in existence. They typically live in social groups that are headed by a silverback. Minor morphological variations and differences in fur color allow eastern and western gorillas to be distinguished from one another. Gorillas can live for 35 to 40 years in the wild. Gorillas can live in a variety of elevations and are native to tropical or subtropical forests in sub-Saharan Africa. At altitudes between 2,200 and 4,300 meters, mountain gorillas are found in the Albertine Rift's montane cloud forests of the Virunga volcanoes. Western lowland gorillas are found in countries in Central West Africa, and eastern lowland gorillas are found in the Democratic Republic of the Congo. Lowland gorillas live in dense forests and swamps at or near sea level. With the exception of the mountain gorilla, which is listed as endangered by the IUCN, gorilla populations are threatened by poaching, habitat destruction, and disease, which has led to their designation as critically endangered. There are thought to be 5,000 eastern and 316,000 western gorillas left in the wild, respectively. However, in some areas, conservation efforts have been able to protect and preserve these animals. Etymology. The Carthaginian explorer Hanno the Navigator's 500 BC expedition to the West African coast in what is now Sierra Leone is where the word gorilla first appeared. Members of his expedition came across what they referred to as savage people, most of whom were hairy women. The explorers referred to these people as gorillae, but it is unknown if they were actually gorillas, another kind of ape, monkeys, or even humans. Legend has it that Carthage kept the skins of these gorillae women until Rome destroyed the city 350 years later. In 1847, Thomas Staunton Savage and Jeffries Wyman, two American naturalists, published the first descriptions of the western gorilla. Using the name of the chimpanzee genus at the time, they gave the species the name Troglodytes gorilla. The term gorillae, from ancient Greek, which referred to a tribe of hairy women mentioned by Hanno, served as the basis for the species name. Evolution and classification. An estimated 7 million years ago, chimpanzees, humans, and gorillas all descended from the same ancestor. Despite only having a 1.6% difference in their genes, gorillas and humans have different numbers of gene copies. Gorillas were previously believed to be one species with 3 subspecies, but it is now accepted that there are actually 2 species, each with 2 subspecies. Although it has been suggested, a third mountain gorilla subspecies is not yet recognized by the government. When their forest habitats shrank and became isolated during the Ice Age, gorilla populations split into distinct species and subspecies. Although primatologists are still investigating the connections between various gorilla populations, it is generally accepted that the species and subspecies listed are the ones that exist. Density, size, hair color, length, culture, and facial width are differentiators in gorilla classifications. The western and eastern lowland gorilla populations are thought to have split about 261,000 years ago, according to population genetics. Characteristics. Adult male gorillas typically weigh between 136 and 227 kilograms, 300 to 500 pounds, in the wild, whereas adult females weigh between 68 and 113 kilograms, 150 to 250 pounds. Adult males typically stand between 1.4 and 1.8 meters, 4 ft 7 in and 5 feet 11 in tall, with arm spans between 2.3 and 2.6 meters, 7 ft 7 in to 8 feet 6 in. The average height of female gorillas is 1.25 to 1.5 meters, 4 ft 1 in to 4 feet 11 in, with shorter arm spans. According to studies, adult male gorillas in the wild weigh between 144 kilograms and 169 kilograms on average. Due to the distinctive silver hair on their backs, adult male gorillas are known as silverbacks, and the heaviest gorilla ever captured weighed 267 kilograms. Male gorillas in captivity can gain weight and weigh as much as 310 kilograms due to obesity. Gorillas can be identified by their physical features and color. Mountain gorillas have the thickest hair, and eastern gorillas are darker, with longer faces and wider chests than their western counterparts. Individual gorilla fingerprints can be found, and they have dark brown eyes with a black ring around the iris. They mainly knuckle walk, though they can occasionally walk upright for short distances. There are conflicting results from studies on gorilla handedness, and their blood does not follow the human ABO blood group system. Gorillas can live up to 50 or 60 years in captivity, but only 35 to 40 years on average in the wild. Kolo, the oldest gorilla ever recorded, lived to be 60 years old, and Ozzy, another gorilla, lived to be 61. Distribution and habitat. Gorillas are not widely dispersed, and they can be found in a variety of environments and altitudes. The western gorilla, which dwells in west-central Africa, and the eastern gorilla, which resides in east-central Africa, are divided by the Congo River and its tributaries. Swamps to montane forests and a wide range of elevations make up the gorilla habitat. Eastern gorillas favor forests that are located between 650 and 4,000 meters (2,130 and 13,120 feet) above sea level. Eastern lowland gorillas live in submontane forests at the lower end of this range, while mountain gorillas live at the upper end. In contrast, the western gorilla inhabits both lowland swamp forests and montane forests, which can be found anywhere from sea level to 1,600 meters above sea level (5,200 feet). The Cross River gorilla lives in low-lying and submontane forests between 150 and 1,600 meters, while the western lowland gorilla inhabits swamps and lowland forests up to 1,600 meters (5,200 feet, 490 to 5,250 feet). Ecology. Diet and foraging. The day of a gorilla is divided into periods of rest and periods of movement or feeding. Within each species and across them, gorillas eat different things. Fruit plays a minor role in the diets of mountain gorillas, who primarily eat plant material like leaves, stems, pith, and shoots. They can live in a variety of habitats and have flexible diets. Their home ranges range from 3 to 15 square kilometers. The diet of eastern lowland gorillas is more varied, changes with the seasons, and can contain up to 25% fruit. With daily distances traveled exceeding those of mountain gorillas, their home ranges range from 2.7 to 6.5 square kilometers. With home ranges between 7 and 14 square kilometers, western lowland gorillas travel even further than the other subspecies and rely more on fruits. Although reports of mountain and lowland gorillas drinking water have been made, gorillas primarily get their water from the succulent vegetation they consume and morning dew. Nesting. Gorillas build nests, usually out of branches and leaves, that they use both during the day and at night. Gorillas sleep on the ground in their nests, which are typically 2 to 5 feet in diameter, unlike chimpanzees or orangutans. Gorilla babies snooze with their mothers, but after 3 years, they begin to construct their own nests. Daily gorilla nests are constructed, they are not recycled. Gorillas typically start building an hour or so before dusk, and they sleep for 12 hours every day on average. Great apes are now thought to use nest building as a type of tool use. Interspecies interactions. Although it's possible that the gorilla remains found in leopard scats are the result of scavenging rather than predation, leopards may prey on gorillas. A male silverback will defend the group even at the risk of his own life when it comes to attacks from people, leopards, or other gorillas. When they share an area, gorillas and chimpanzees don't appear to engage in direct competition. Their diets overlap when fruit is in abundance, but when it is scarce, gorillas rely more on vegetation. Additionally, they frequently consume various fruit and insect species. While feeding on the same tree, gorillas and chimpanzees may ignore one another, but they have also been observed forming social bonds. However, chimpanzee gangs have occasionally attacked and killed gorilla families, including silverbacks and young ones. Behavior. Social structure. Gorillas live in social groups known as troops, which are usually headed by an older male or silverback, as well as several adult females and their young. Some armies, however, contain numerous adult males. Silverbacks make decisions, mediate disputes, and direct the group to feeding areas. They have distinctive silver hair on their backs and large canine teeth. Blackbacks are younger males who act as backup defense. Gorillas frequently leave their birth groups and can start new troops. Mountain gorilla females are known to transfer to new groups twice as frequently as male gorillas do. Females and their young may scatter if a silverback dies in order to prevent infanticide. Until a new silverback joins the group, eastern lowland gorillas might remain in their current group. The relationship between the silverback and his females, which is maintained through grooming and proximity, is the center of gorilla social life. Males may step in to stop females from getting close to them. Although gorilla groups typically have frail social ties, all male groups frequently interact amicably, and violent aggression is uncommon in established groups. Reproduction and parenting. Male mountain gorillas mature at 11 to 13 years old, whereas females mature at 10 to 12 years old. The female experiences her first ovulatory cycle at age 6, which is followed by 2 years of infertility. Females give birth for the first time at the age of 10, with a 4-year interbirth interval, after an 8.5-month gestation period. Unlike chimpanzees, gorillas mate throughout the year, with females displaying more subtly visible ovulatory symptoms. When a female gorilla wants to mate, she will approach the male, purse her lips, make eye contact, and possibly reach out to him or slap the ground to get his attention. Females may be forced to mate with each male in a group of males, but solicitation reveals a preference on the part of the female. Males entice females to copulate by displaying, touching, and grunting. Recently, gorillas have been seen engaging in face-to-face sex, a behavior that was previously thought to only occur between humans and bonobos. Infant gorillas are weak and reliant, so mothers are their primary carers. The silverback plays a protective role by defending young children from group aggression. Infants sleep in the same nest as their mothers and suckle at least once every hour. Infants gradually lose contact with their mothers as they get older and spend more time away from them. They only spend half their time with their mothers by the time they are 30 months old. By their 6th year, young gorillas are weaned and sleep in a separate nest from their mothers. Conflicts are reduced during the weaning process with the assistance of playmates, such as the silverback. In a short time after weaning their young, females become fertile once more. Communication, grunts, barks, screams, and roars are just a few of the vocalizations that gorillas use to communicate with one another. Each sound has a distinct meaning. Additionally, they employ non-verbal cues and threat-based actions to settle disputes amicably. The ritualized charge display is a distinctive behavior of gorillas and entails 9 steps, including beating the chest, throwing plants, and thumping the ground with the palms. Depending on the gorilla's size, the frequency of chest beating may vary, and it tends to occur more frequently when females are prepared to mate. Intelligence. Because they are able to express a wide range of emotions, including sadness and laughter, gorillas are renowned for their high intelligence and emotional complexity. They are able to use tools and create close family ties. Some studies even contend that gorillas practice religion or have spiritual beliefs. Additionally, studies have revealed that gorillas have cultural customs, including distinctive food preparation techniques and personal color preferences. A limited form of sign language has also been taught to a few captive gorillas, including Koko. Tool use. Gorillas use tools in the wild, according to research conducted by a team led by Thomas Brewer of the Wildlife Conservation Society in September 2005. 2 female gorillas were seen fishing in a swamp and using a tree stump as a bridge and support, as well as a stick to gauge the depth of the water. As a result of this discovery, it is now known that all great apes use tools. The first known instance of a gorilla using tools in this way was a young gorilla who was seen using rocks to crack open palm nuts. Over 40 years prior, chimpanzees were seen in the wild using tools, specifically for fishing. For termites, the great apes can use basic tools and even weapons, like making a club out of a downed branch, and they have semi-precision grips. Scientific study. The first gorilla specimens, including the skull and other bones, were acquired by American doctor and missionary Thomas Staunton Savage while he was in Liberia. In an article that appeared in the Proceedings of the Boston Society of Natural History in 1847, he and the naturalist Jeffries Wyman provided the first scientific description of gorillas. The western gorilla, formerly known as the troglodytes gorilla, was described in the article. In the years that followed, additional gorilla species were described. Paul du Chaillu was the first Westerner to see a live gorilla during his travels through western equatorial Africa from 1856 to 1859, and he brought dead specimens to the UK in 1861. Carl Akeley of the American Museum of Natural History conducted the first systematic investigation in the 1920s, assisted by his friends Mary Bradley and her family. Following the trip, Mary Bradley embraced gorilla conservation and penned a number of books on the subject. Harold Bigham was sent to Africa by Robert Yerkes and his wife Ava in the late 1920s and early 1930s to further the study of gorillas. After World War II, George Schaller was one of the first scientists to study primates in the wild, and Diane Fossey went on to conduct a thorough investigation of mountain gorillas. Later research revealed that one of the zoonotic origins of HIV/AIDS is the western lowland gorilla. 2012 saw the sequencing of the gorilla genome, which showed that 15% of the human genome is more similar to gorillas than to chimpanzees. The study also showed that gorillas underwent the same rapid evolution of hearing genes that was previously thought to have led to the development of language in humans. Captivity. Western zoos have valued gorillas since the 19th century, but early attempts to keep them in captivity led to their early deaths. But by the late 1920s, gorilla care in captivity had greatly improved. Colo, who was born at the Columbus Zoo and Aquarium on December 22, 1956, was the first gorilla to be born in a captivity. Gorillas kept in captivity exhibit stereotypical behaviors like eating disorders, self-harm, hostility towards their own species, pacing, and excessive grooming. They are also overly vigilant when it comes to visitors. Young silverback bachelor groups have higher rates of aggression and wounding than mixed age and sex groups. It has been demonstrated that naturalistic auditory stimuli and privacy screens on exhibit windows can lessen captive gorillas' stress-related behavior. Changes to feeding and foraging also reduce stereotypical behavior while promoting wholesome eating habits. A one-size-fits-all approach to determining gorilla welfare, however, is insufficient, according to recent research. Instead, individualized analyses based on elements like age, sex, personality, and personal history are crucial to comprehending how stressors differ in how they impact each gorilla's welfare. Conservation status. All gorilla species and subspecies are classified as either critically endangered or endangered on the IUCN Red List, and their international export-import is restricted by the Convention on International Trade in Endangered Species (CITES). The population of the western lowland gorilla is approximately 316,000 in the wild and 4,000 in zoos, while the population of the eastern lowland gorilla is less than 5,000 in the wild and only 24 in zoos. With only 880 remaining in the wild and none in zoos, the mountain gorilla is the species that is most in danger of extinction. They face threats to their survival from habitat destruction, bushmeat poaching, and human disease susceptibility. The Great Apes Survival Project and the Agreement on the Conservation of Gorillas and Their Habitats are just two examples of the many projects and agreements that have been made in the name of conservation, but weak law enforcement and the illegal poaching, trade, and consumption of gorillas pose a threat to their survival. Cultural significance. In some regions of Cameroon, local folklore uses totems to establish connections between people and gorillas, with the implication that when one dies, the others will follow. Many indigenous peoples have in-depth knowledge of wild gorillas, and some of them even have words to describe the various species. Many tribes, including the Bulu and Fang people, regularly tell gorilla tales, which frequently feature reincarnation, totems, and transformational themes. Since gaining international attention, gorillas have been portrayed in various ways in popular culture and media, often as aggressive and murderous creatures. They have been depicted in films and plays as kidnapping human women, and used as opponents to jungle-themed heroes and superheroes. However, there have also been more positive and sympathetic portrayals of gorillas in films such as Gorillas in the Mist and Mighty Joe Young, and in novels like Ishmael. Gorillas have also been featured in video games, such as Donkey Kong. We appreciate you watching this gorilla video. I really appreciate your support, and I hope you enjoyed and learned something from it. Please leave a comment if you have any queries or suggestions. Again, thanks for watching.